So, I'm Dr. Sara Rushinek. I'm a professor at the University of Miami. I'm in business technology, wear a number of different hats, but one of the hats is getting different businesses, areas to work with AI in business. And I have with me Dr. Avi Rushinek, who is also involved in AI. There he is, in programming, coming up with all these crazy ideas. So we basically love to put people together. And our panel today, really, every time I met someone, I said, my goodness, we can do a whole day or 2-day seminar on this. So we're going to have to basically do it really quickly. But I just wanted to thank, first of all, Jean-Marie for setting this up, and let's give a show of hands to him. He really has done this, really. I'm really pleased about it, and hopefully next time we can give our input that we can do it a bit more ahead of time. So I have myself, I have Dr. Avi Rushinek, and in this case, do I have a clicker? Where's that? This is it? Oh, okay.
Yes.
Perfect. Wow. So basically, we've done a lot of different things here in terms, I do a lot of talks for the community and also for academic environments. I also work with a number of developers. And we're looking at this in ethical considerations in developing inclusive AI systems. On my panel today, I have Dr. Avi Rushinek, and I also have Carlos Gomez, who is one of our programmers. So we're going to be looking also on how to create your own chatbot and also look at the area of privacy. Many of the things, and when we started talking about ethical considerations and privacy, I said, my goodness, I have to have attorneys. So I thank our two attorneys that will be speaking as well. And then also, I needed to turn to a music engineer, so we're going to be having also a guest speaker from the School of Music. So we'll be looking at it, and what we've done is almost look at ways in which to do things remotely. So Avi, if you can just, you want to come up here, or you're... So let's see if you can get up here. Wow, it's like in ways to do this. So we're looking at ways of hybrid ways. One of the things I talked about at the conference, somebody said there's a flood. Everybody get that flood alert? There's a flood, but also there's a problem when I'm having this with the flood alert. We'll give that to Avi when he comes up. Thank you. With the flood alert is, how about people staying at home to view it? So we're looking at different ways to do video 360, and also in music, the idea there's no replacement to music than seeing it live. But we always can't see it live as well. So the way to bring these in. Also, there's a way in which, do you want to do that? There's a way in which to bring remotely when you have hands-free. You're playing music and you don't have hands-free. What we do is we have a demo lab where we look at...
I'm just going to talk to my computer. This is a voice-activated computer on my head, and I'm just going to command it to operate. So it is an Android operating system, and I'm going to talk to it to demonstrate it to you. I'm going to tell it, record video. And it doesn't react because it went to sleep. So I have to activate it.
Can you imagine how crazy we look?
And it is telling me that it is using the rear microphone. So I'm going to try to talk to it again. My camera.
And you heard a click, yeah.
Yes, you heard it click. That means that it is awake. Record video. Did you hear the click? Flash on. Did it turn on the flash? So you see how it works?
Flash off.
So flash off. In the meantime, I'll let her continue.
No, you continue. We can continue with this.
Okay, so our presentation, unlike the other presentations here, that produce a video from text, we're going to demonstrate to you video to video. What does it mean? In the classroom, we are broadcasting live video from a camera like this. This is a 360 camera, which means that it has more than one lens, front and back. So you can rotate when you sit on YouTube or on a server, you can rotate and see the instructor and click it around. And if you have a cell phone, you have a gyro in the cell phone. As you turn your head, your hand, or your position, it will rotate the image.
So you see here on the screen, Ami, if you look here on
So
the
you
screen.
can see it on the screen. And what we are doing, we reverse engineer algorithms. So we reverse engineer the algorithm of the stock market, for example, to forecast for high frequency trading what will be the next millisecond position of the stock market, so that AI can help us forecast it, and a day trader or automated trading system can take advantage of it. So I'd like you to see these are keywords. 4K is high resolution. 360 is surround video. And this is a vanity number. 305ontrial.co. A vanity number means a number that spells a telephone number like 305668. And the most important thing is we tap the SERP. The SERP stands for the Search Engine Results Page. And not only do we tap it, but we push everybody down 20 positions.
Ami, you may want to turn off the lens.
So if you took your cell phone right now and you go to youtube.com and you type these keywords, you'll open up the page on YouTube, and you'll see how we saturate the first page and the second page. Just to give you an example with this current situation, we will make up a vanity number that spells music tech. So 305 music tech or some similar thing. And then talking about videos, we will streamline this event, stream it live, and archive it locally. So unlike what people showed you before, text to video, we're doing video to video. This is like video GPT. In other words, we record the video, and in this case, we couldn't get connectivity. So this is a perfect case when we will generate regular video. This device records video and can stream it to the worldwide. It has its own SIM card, and when there is no connectivity, like in this situation right now, it will record it locally, and when connectivity becomes available, it will sync it with the cloud. The point being that if you are in a music event like this exactly, and they don't provide you internet connectivity, that will not be a problem, because it will all record to the local devices, and this is what we are doing with AI. Unlike everybody else, we are running AI on a local device. What does it mean? Off the grid, off the internet, running on local host. Those of you who are with a little computer science background understand what is a local host. That is the server that is running on my head, so I don't need to have any connectivity, and the AI will learn to operate on my videos and my content only, so it is not exposed to other people. The same applies to my phone. I will run it on my phone, just like Apple described. What they are going to do is they are going to run GPT on their phones. And unlike text to video, we are going to do video to video. In other words, the AI will read the video files and create the name tags, the titles, the descriptions, and will also post them if you are posting it to YouTube and so on. So now, go to the first page. This is what you will see on youtube.com. If you went right now, you will see her teaching. And this is me, I think. We can, and when you click on it, notice that there is a little remote control up here in the corner. You see this little circle. This is a remote control. And this is actually a seminar that we did in Nova Southern University 4 years ago. Look at the date. 89 views 4 years ago, topped the search engine results page. So this, when you go to YouTube, this will be the first one on YouTube worldwide. So if you are an artist and you have a band, let's say that your band is called Music Tech. So we will create a vanity phone number, and when somebody will type it on the search engine, like YouTube or Google, we will make it so it tops the search engine with all the videos streamed or not streamed. So when we stream it live in the classroom, all the students have to do is enter the keyword, in this case 305ontrial.co, which is a phone number and also a domain name. And then they will see in the first position, it will say live now, and they will click on it, and they will be live, unauthenticated on YouTube. That will take them only a few seconds in and out. In addition to that, we stream it also on authenticated sites like Blackboard and all kinds of LMS, learning management systems.
Okay, now we have Carlos. Do you want to come up and introduce yourself? Thanks,
and Carlos is actually trying to demonstrate deploying it, running it on a local host again without internet connectivity. And this is exactly the point. We didn't get internet connectivity, no internet, no problem. You run the AI locally.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm a software developer. I'm Carlos Gomez. Nice to meet you all. So basically, I just found out really cool tools that you can use while you're creating new music. The first tool that I found was Sona AI. It's a web tool. You just basically input text. You just prompt it like you would with ChatGPT, and then you get a real clip of music, complete like 3 minutes of a stream. And it's like just when DJs start getting really cool tools making electronic music, I think we are right now in a new path to make music in new ways. You can just put text and you get output. And when these systems just get a little bit better, you can even put a sample video and text and even get fine-tuned product of what you're doing. For example, I know if someone have heard of like Avicii. It's like a really good DJ. He makes all his, well, he used to, he's dead. So he used to make all his songs electronically. So only with a computer he could make songs that really touched the soul of the people. They were really good. These tools are just empowering people to create music that were just not possible just like a year before. At the end of the presentation, I can show you the small clip that I made. It just takes like 2 minutes, and I counting the time you will sing it up. So the biggest concern of these models is basically the data. The model is as good as the input. Basically, all these models work really similar. And the main difference in the output is the people who is using it. In other words, is the artist itself, not the model. You can have the highest technology, the biggest model, the better of them all. But if you don't prompt it the right way, you will get trash. So it's still on the hands of the people who is using it to produce and create. So it's in the hands of the artists to play with all these new tools. But that being said, the data is critical, because if someone stole all your songs, they can mail the songs just like you do, easily. So sometimes when you are creating, you don't want to get exposed, and you don't want to share your data with an online web page. You don't want your data to be in the cloud. And for these cases, you have open source solutions that run on device without needing to share data. Of course, at this stage, these solutions are not a state of the art, and they do not work as well as proprietary systems. But if data privacy is your main concern, I should encourage you to look in the internet to look all these open source tools that people are just sharing for free. For example, here you can see a small chatbot that we made. So you basically will put the YouTube video link and it will just make a summary or anything that you can in the prompt. It will extract all the audio with some audio model. It will convert it to text and then will just give you a prompt. For example, sometimes imagine you have a really long documentary and you will just want to make a description, or you have a song and you want to come up with ideas just to pull and fill up the description in YouTube. You can just put the video and say, hey, buddy, help me make a description for a video. Give me some ideas, and then you can go through that. Here we have an example of one that you will only upload the video, but it's only local host. It will never go to the web. And you will get like a short description of the video. And there are a lot of models from different things. For example, we just saw at the beginning of the presentation, people text to videos. You can have text to songs.
Just one quick correction. Yes, Carlos said that it will never go to the web, and that is when it is running locally. I just want to remind you and the audience that if you want, you can expose it to the web.
Oh, yeah.
You can run on your local host a web server and open the port. Those are who that a little more technical understand what it is, and then you'll share it with the world also. So just because it is running locally, off the grid, on your device, on my head, for example, doesn't mean that you cannot open it to the world, but it will be under your control and not under the control of OpenAI or some other company that who knows what they are doing, or Apple or whatever. So just a quick side comment.
Yes, you can even put a server on a local office. You have your production team, and everyone is using the server locally with all these AI tools that do not share your data to the web. So basically, that will be it. If yeah, it's in the same folder. You can just hear just a little short song that I made using the first tool, Suno AI. And they can even make songs in Spanish. It's really interesting how these models, they're just multilingual and can handle all these things. After you hear the song, I will have to go. So have a good day. Thanks all for your attention. And keep looking in the internet. There are a lot of free tools that you can use without exposing your data.
Do you have that song? Do you have the song? Thank you. What? Oh, he didn't have that song. It was on. Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. All right, great.
Thank you, Sarah, for having me. My name is Tom Collins, and I run the Music Computing and Psychology Lab at the Frost School of Music, University of Miami. We can go to the next slide. I guess we don't have a lot of time. Shall I do the clicker? Okay. Just a bit about me. I studied music first, then I studied math. I've been working on generative AI for music since 2008, and worked with a number of people, Imogen Heap, Alex Gonzalez, Kemi Sulola, and I just wanted to draw people's attention to this. I don't know if it was mentioned yesterday, I couldn't be here. Something called the AI Song Contest. It's run since 2020. I was part of a team that came third last year with a song called Vertigo. Kemi Sulola was the main artist on that. So that's me working with Imogen, that's G-Zone, that's Kemi. I don't want to test your patience, it's been a long day. If it auto plays, you can hear 45 seconds of Vertigo, sorry. Let's see what happens. Okay, we'll click through it because we're short of time. But I just wanted to say, One thing that I'm here today to talk about is a project that just started at University of Miami called Concerts with Humans and Artificial Intelligence, or CHAI for short. We just started earlier this week with about 60 middle school, high school kids coming in and doing sessions where they are seeing some of the tech that you've heard mentioned earlier today. And we're trying to understand the impact of these tools on young musicians' perceptions of themselves, of their musical capabilities, and of their musical futures. So that's a project that you can read more about at that site. And I won't say anything more since we're short of time, but happy to take your questions about projects that I've worked on in the past. And so I'll hand over at this point.
Thank you very much. Yeah. My name is Leslie Ziegel, and so I'm here to talk about some of the legal and ethical considerations. Let me get over to my slides over here. Yeah. All right, here we go. Okay, so I'm going to talk about some of the legal ramifications of using AI software in the music industry. And a lot of what we're seeing is stuff that is replayed, and it's things that have happened in the past. Here's just a quick brief on the technology in music over the years. So 1948, the first LP was released. Then you had portable radio. The cassette was invented in 1963, the Sony Walkman in 1979. In 82, CDs, which was an all-digital format. The internet, of course, in the 90s, Google in 98, Napster in 99. And I was at BMG, I was the head of legal and business affairs for Latin America from 1996 to 2003. So I had a front row seat to the dot-com revolution, as well as Napster and the launch of iTunes. So I got to see a lot of how technology upended the music industry in particular. When I was at BMG in the 2000s, I think the music business was somewhere around $17 billion. When Napster came in, it absolutely decimated the industry, and I think at its best it went down to $4 or $5 billion. It's now gone back up since Spotify has come into play. So we see these waves of technology and the impacts on different industries, including in music. So I think this is an important slide to talk about, and something I often talk about when people will often criticize Spotify as being terrible for artists and that they're ripping artists off. And I think that's misdirected. First, if you look at Spotify's numbers, about 70% of their income goes to the owners of the content. That's a huge amount that goes to the creators. The problem is you have all these intermediaries, such as record labels, so an artist may only get 12 to 15% of what a record label gets. But to show you how little money flows through because of the way these business models are set up, on 1 million streams, the content owner will make about $4,500. And to give you an example of just the sheer change in the industry, when I was a teenager, I'd buy 2 albums a week with my allowance, 8 albums a month, I'd spend roughly $60. This is circa 1980. In today's dollars, that would be like spending $200 a month on my music. Today, I spend roughly $4.50 because I have a Spotify premium subscription that I share with my 2 kids and with my wife. So I pay 1/4 of whatever, $18 or so, and I pay $4.50, and I have the entire music catalog virtually in the world as compared to what I used to do in 1980, where I would spend the equivalent of $200 a week. So with that seismic shift, there's been a shift in the economics and what has happened, and that leads to the situation that we're in today. One of the, I used to think, and I'm definitely on the fence, I'm also a musician. I recently used ChatGPT to give me a better way in which to practice bass, because I'm a jazz musician at heart, so it's given me a weekly practice schedule. I have an hour a day to practice, and it'll go through what I need to do with arpeggios, with modes, so forth and so on. And, I'm a university-trained musician, but continue to learn music. I see a lot of presentations right now on, okay, you can use this AI app to create a song. Just put in a few words and it's going to create something. In my mind, that's not really true creativity. The machines are doing it, and the question is, how do they work as a tool and keep the human element of music and the arts? We talked about engineers versus artists. How are we going to stay true to that proposition? But if you look at drum machines, drum machines happened over time. Really, I think 1980 was a seminal point. With respect to drum machines and how they impacted it. I'm sure David Frangione and I could have a long conversation, as he's a drummer and we've played together in the past, but let me just continue here. One of the biggest concerns with respect to AI, we talked about it with the Drake situation, But this sort of issue of someone copying an original invention and profiting from it has existed, and there is some legal precedent, and I think these cases are going to come to the fore again. Bette Midler sued Ford Motors in 1988. She won about a $400,000 judgment. They wanted to hire her to do a TV commercial. She said no. They hired one of her backup singers instead who sounded like her. She was able to prove that they were trying to basically pilfer her voice for a commercial profit, and won. We see a lot of that happening right now with AI. The first big sampling case was in 1991, the Bismarcky case, and there was a $10 million judgment. This was the beginning of sampling lawsuits. Sampling is when you go and take a previously made master recording, put it on your recording, and then incorporate it into it. Legally, you need a license to do it because that's what's known as a derivative work in copyright speak. And then Tom Waits sued Frito-Lay because, again, they wanted to hire him, and instead they hired someone else and said, hey, create a Tom Waits-like song for this TV campaign, and he won in this case. And we see this happening a lot right now with AI, where people are saying, well, I want it to sound like X or Y. But this also happens. There's a famous case having to do with Robin Thicke and Pharrell Williams with the Marvin Gaye case. I don't think that case was decided right, but that was a case where they were trying to emulate a Marvin Gaye type of sound. Hearts on My Sleeve was spoken about earlier. The Drake songs, I'll skip through this. Suno was spoken about earlier. It's a AI music creation software. And I think, some of the things that we have to think about for the future is right now, you cannot register a copyright of an AI-generated song because there needs to be a human element. Where that's going to intersect with the Copyright Act, time will tell. And then there's the issue of scraping or training from pre-existing music. My opinion is if you go and take something that already exists and then use it and then manipulate that, that's a derivative work and would be copyright infringement. Whether the courts will agree with that, time will tell. So.
Wow, that was great.
Thank you so much,
That's
guys.
for a musician and a lawyer, so short. We just have one more here.
Okay.
That Thomas, who's another attorney, and a musician, and a baseball player. So it's all
Wow.
together.
Superman.
This is working.
Hello.
Thank you.
My name is Tomas Michelson. I'm an entertainment, Web3, and intellectual property attorney. So, on the same note, I'm going to be talking about the legal ramifications of AI and music. When I go to the studios, I'm usually known as the no man because I'm always telling everybody, yeah, you can't do that, right? And there's so much music and there's so many rights involved, so much money and so many rights involved in music that's really important to talk about this. I know you guys talked all about using AI this last couple days in music, but we got to look at the reality of the situation, okay? So first thing I need to talk about really quickly is copyrights, all right? What is a copyright? Copyright is an intellectual property law that protects original works of authorship, okay? It protects books, it protects videos, it protects music. In this context, we're going to talk about music, okay? Now, what's the purpose of getting a copyright, all right? It's control. It's like having a house. You want to control who uses it, who doesn't use it, how they use it, how you make money off of it, and even more importantly, being able to sell it, okay? It's really important that you have that control. Now, really quickly, I don't really have a lot of time to go over this, but there's two types of copyrights. There's state copyrights and federal copyrights. We're not even going to talk about state copyrights because as soon as you make any sort of a song, for example, you automatically have, poof, magic, you have a state copyright. But the reality is it provides no protections. What you need to do is you need to file for a federal copyright with the United States Copyright Office.
What about
International, I mean, it just depends. Every country has their own copyright laws. They all pretty much follow the U.S.'s format. But now if you file for a federal copyright, all right, it gives you a few things. One, you can go to federal court and you can sue anyone anywhere in the country if they use your music without permission. That's copyright infringement. They use your music without your permission, okay? The other thing it gives you is something called statutory damages. If someone uses your music without your permission, you can automatically get up to $30,000 from them without having to prove that you were damaged in any way. And if you show it's willful, you can get up to $250,000 in damages. This country protects its creators, and that's really good. But, we'll see how that fits in. Now, last thing about copyrights, when I have to move on, is what's required for a copyright. One, you need an author, right? Two, it needs to be original. That means it's independently created by the author. 3, it needs creativity, a minimal amount of creativity. The bar is just so low it's ridiculous. It needs to have some creativity. The last part is it needs to be fixed in a tangible medium of expression. It needs to be written, it needs to be recorded. However, it needs to end up on something, okay? Now, so what are the issues within AI and music? One is, who's the author? If you are using AI and it makes you a song, are you the author? Is the AI the author? Okay? The next part is there's an ongoing trend of, and we've talked about this, using people's vocals, artists' vocals, and making songs out of it. There's something called name, image, and likeness rights. And if you use someone's name, image, and likeness, and it's a different law than copyright, if you use it to make money, you can get sued for that. And the last part, and Leslie kind of stepped on it a little bit, was input for AI. How does AI make music? You have to teach it. So what these companies are doing is they're giving it data sets of copyrighted music without permission from the copyright holders. Then that AI is learning, making you a song from that copyrighted music. Is that copyright infringement? They don't have permission. That's what the AI is basing its decisions off of. Now, what does the U.S. Copyright Office say about this? It says an author has to be a human being. There was a case a while back where a monkey took a photo and they wanted to copyright that photo. And the U.S. Copyright Office said, no, it is not a human being. Now, if you were to take a photo, right, who's the author of that work? Is it the camera or is it the person? Well, the Copyright Office talks about that. Because you're the one who finds the shot you want, changes the focus, right? You get the right lighting, you choose what to take a photo of at what time of day. You are exercising creative control over that tool. So therefore, you are the author, all right? Now, with AI, that's a problem. They said specifically, the Copyright Office, that simply inputting information for AI to give you content is not enough to give you a copyright. Might change the way a lot of you think after this last couple days. Because copyrights are important. That's how you protect your rights. But if you are simply inputting in AI or what you want it to make, it's not good enough. Unless you use it as a tool. And that, for example, there's no fine line. We don't know how far this goes. Like anything in law, it's always super vague, right? And an assisting instrument is, let's say you want to clean up your lyrics or fix one line of it, or you have it make you a beat and you use that beat to create your own. You're inspired by it. Then that's using it as an assisting instrument. Okay. Now, he discussed a lot of cases, and I think these are some recent ones as well. And I'll be over in less than a minute. Please bear with me. Okay. So a recent one is Universal Music Group versus Anthropic. Anthropic is an AI company that took copyrighted lyrics and taught its AI language through that. Now, Universal Music Group and a bunch of other publishers are currently suing Anthropic for that. They're saying it's infringement. You're using our lyrics without our permission to teach this AI to make music. It's an ongoing case. Excuse me. It's an ongoing case. We don't know how it's going to end up, but that's going to set a great precedence. Next, you have the Elvis Act. In Tennessee, they have made a prohibition from using an artist's voice in your song without their permission while using AI and profiting off of it. Complete ban. That needs to go across the entire country. I think this is the first starting point of it. I think it's going to spread. Next, Heart on My Sleeve. Some of you heard about the Drake song, right? In Weekend. Everybody thought Drake and The Weeknd made that song. Well, they didn't. Well, guess what? They got it taken down. And I can't get into what DMCA is. Leslie, I'm sure, knows about that. But basically, Spotify, YouTube, TikTok all took it down because they recognized that you cannot steal someone's voice and put it in a song through AI. Now, the last one I talk about is Rick Astley versus Young Gravy. Young Gravy took Rick's voice, put it in his song as actual audio file using AI, and that's an ongoing case right now. Rick's suing Young Gravy. And that is a very important case for showing precedence. So, at the end of the day, we have to understand that with every new technology that comes out, you have old, outdated law that has to then morph to that new technology. And while this was the Wild West 2 years ago, as you have seen, we have a couple more rules, a couple more laws, a couple more decisions that are helping us decide how we can use this technology and in what ways. But it's not there yet. We're getting there. We're starting to see. You might not be able to use songs that are inputted in AI. You might not be able to use any of that knowledge that they've input in AI if they don't pay for the copyright, right? We're starting to see you can't use people's voices without their permission. So, it'll be interesting to see where it all goes, but, if anyone ever has any questions about it, feel free to reach out to me.
Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge. If you guys have any questions, we're going to have like a little jam session out there, so you guys can ask some questions and whatnot.